If you keep getting more responsibility but not more authority, this episode is for you. Because there's a point in your career where being really good at your job can actually slow you down. Not because excellence is a problem, but because leadership does not promote based on how well you execute what they already expect. Today, we're talking about why high-performing women get trusted with more but elevated less, how competence quietly turns into a ceiling, and what actually needs to shift for the next level to open up. If you've ever felt relied on but overlooked, valued but stalled, this conversation will help you understand why. Let's dive in. Welcome to Career Growth for Working Women. If you're ambitious, capable, and quietly carrying more than your role reflects, you're in the right place. I'm Shannon, promotion and compensation coach, and I help women fast-track their next promotion by teaching them how to show their value so clearly leadership can't overlook them. Here, we talk about career advancement, visibility, burnout recovery, and building confidence without burning yourself out or shrinking to fit someone else's expectations. So grab your coffee or reheat it for the third time, and let's get into it. I want to start today with something I hear from high-performing women all the time. It sounds like, I keep getting more responsibility, but not more authority. I'm trusted with more, but it's not translating into promotion or pay. I'm clearly valued, so why does my career feel stalled? And what makes this so disorienting is that from the outside, it looks like things are going well. You're the one leadership relies on. You're looped into important work. You're given stretch assignments. People trust you. So naturally, you assume this means you're being prepared for the next level. But over time, something starts to feel off because the work keeps expanding, but your role does not. The expectations increase, but the recognition does not. The responsibility grows, but the authority stays the same. And that is where a lot of capable, ambitious women quietly get stuck. Here's the uncomfortable truth I want to name today. Being good at your job can actually slow your career down if you stay there too long. Not because excellence is a problem, not because competence is bad, but because leadership does not promote based on how well you execute your current role. They promote based on whether they can imagine you in a different one. And those are not the same thing. Most high-performing women were rewarded early in their careers for being dependable. You followed through, you handled complexity, you didn't need much supervision, you made things easier for everyone else. And that mattered. It built trust. It built credibility. So when leadership started giving you more responsibility, it felt like progress. But here's what often happens next. Responsibility increases, visibility increases, pressure increases, but authority does not. You're asked to do more, not decide more. You're expected to carry more, not influence more. You're relied on, but not elevated. That is where competence quietly turns into a ceiling. Because leadership now sees you as extremely valuable where you are. You are solving problems. You are keeping things moving. You are absorbing complexity that would otherwise land on them. And without realizing it, you have become essential to the system as it exists. The problem is that systems do not promote the people who keep them running smoothly. They promote the people they believe can change them. This is why so many women say, I feel like the more I prove myself, the harder it is to get out of this role. This is not your imagination. When you are exceptionally good at execution, leadership subconsciously anchors you there. They trust you. They depend on you. And they stop questioning whether you should be doing something else. This is especially true for women who are conscientious, thoughtful, and service-oriented. Women who step in without being asked. Women who fill gaps. Women who carry things quietly and women who think, if I just do this well, they will see me. But here's the key reframe. Leadership does not promote based on how well you do what they already expect of you. They promote based on signals of readiness for what they need next. And readiness is not demonstrated by competence alone. Readiness is demonstrated by perspective, by judgment, by the ability to decide what matters. This is where many high-performing women feel confused because they are capable of thinking strategically. They do see the bigger picture. They do understand the implications, but that part of them is not what is most visible. What is most visible is their output. So leadership associates them with productivity, not leadership, with reliability, not authority, with execution, not direction. And again, none of these are bad things, but they are not what promotions are built on. Here's another layer that matters. When you're consistently given more responsibility without more authority, it trains you to equate growth with load. You start to believe that advancement looks like carrying more, handling more, being trusted with more. But that's not advancement. That is expansion. And expansion without elevation leads to burnout. Not because you can't handle it, but because it's not aligned with where you want to go. This is also why women struggle to articulate what they want next. They are busy, they are stretched, they are performing. So when someone asks, "What's next for you?" they freeze because they are so embedded in their current role, they cannot see beyond it. That is not lack of ambition, it is a lack of space. When all your energy is going into maintaining excellence, there is very little left for repositioning. This is one of the biggest misunderstandings about career growth. Doing your job well does not automatically move you forward. At a certain point, it actually keeps you exactly where you are. The women who advance are not always the best executors. They are the clearest signalers. They make it easy for leadership to see them in a different seat. They are not just trusted, they are envisioned. And here's where the 5% method comes into this conversation. At the 5% level, career growth stops being about how much you can carry. It starts being about how clearly your value is understood. This is not about doing less, it's about doing different. It's about shifting from proving to positioning. And that shift is primarily internal before it's ever external. Instead of asking, "How can I show I can handle more?" you start asking, "What do I want to be known for?" Instead of defaulting to being the solution, you start paying attention to where your judgment matters. Instead of automatically absorbing responsibility, begin noticing what signals you are sending by doing so. Because every time you say yes without context, you reinforce a role. Every time you quietly fix something, you strengthen an identity. Every time you overfunction, you teach people how to see you, and leadership learns fast. That is why simply asking for a promotion often does not work. If your day-to-day visibility is anchored in execution, asking for elevation feels disconnected. Leadership may trust you deeply, they may respect you, but they cannot yet imagine you operating differently. So the shift is not to stop being good at your job. It is to stop letting your job be the only story people know about you. This is where many women worry, if I stop being the reliable one, will everything fall apart? And the answer is no. What actually happens is that people recalibrate, they adjust. They start seeing you not just as someone who gets things done, but as someone who decides what should get done. That is a different signal. And it's often uncomfortable at first, because when you change how you show up, the system responds. Sometimes with confusion, sometimes with resistance, sometimes with silence. That does not mean you are doing it wrong. It often means you are no longer reinforcing the old role. This is also why the shift of competence-based positioning has to be intentional and sustainable, not dramatic, not reactive, not all at once. The goal is not to withdraw, it's to reframe. To let leadership see you thinking, your discernment, your ability to prioritize and assess impact. Because leadership promotes people they trust to make decisions, not just execute them. So, as we start to close today, I want to ground this in something simple. If you have been feeling stretched, underrecognized, or quietly frustrated, do not ask yourself what you need to do better. Ask yourself what story your work is currently telling. Is it telling a story of capability, a story of readiness, or is it telling a story of reliability or a story of leadership? These are all different narratives. and you get to influence which one is reinforced. You are not behind. You are not stuck because you are too good. You are not failing because you care. You have simply outgrown the strategy that got you here. And that is not a problem. It's a signal. The next level does not require more from you. It requires something different from you. And when you make that shift, your career stops feeling like it's slowing down and starts feeling like it's finally aligned. You are not broken. You are not asking for too much. You are just ready for positioning that matches your impact. I'll see you next time. If today's episode sparked something for you, a question, an idea, or a realization, don't ignore it. I offer promotion strategy calls where we walk through your current role, your goals, and how to position you for your next promotion or raise without burning out or overworking. You can book that call using the link in the description. And if this episode helped you, sharing it or leaving a quick review makes a bigger difference than you know. Until next time, keep showing your value clearly. You've earned it.